Welcome to Rokk Club's record album review of Judas Priest, Screaming for Vengeance. My name is Kevin Z, and I'm a lifelong musician and music fan, and I'd like to think that I've gained some musical wisdom over my 50 years of listening to, performing, and studying music from among my many favorite artists. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to my Rokk Club channel, as I intend to review another monumental album each week. Now, I grew up with classic rock bands like Led Zeppelin, Boston, and Kiss, and I watched as new wave bands like Duran Duran hit big on MTV and television shows like Friday Night Videos. I witnessed the evolution of 80s alternative rock and hair metal and the rise of grunge. I'll give you my perspective on epic rock albums spanning across these years. Now, I hope I can pass along some of this knowledge to my daughters, Sky and Ava, whose playlists include tunes from my record collection and my first generation iPod here. Also, folks at work who heard my playlists and they commented on how today's generation could benefit from my knowledge of these great artists and bands. So I'm reviewing artists' albums in their formatted order as they were intended to originally be listened to. So keep in mind, these are my opinions. Feel free to comment, agree, and disagree. So let's begin. Flashback to late spring of 1983, and I'm living in a duplex in Wayzata, Minnesota with my mom and my older sisters. My sisters were both away at college during this time, and my mom, being a single parent of 3, worked 2 jobs. This left me home alone to do my bidding most of the time. If I wasn't riding my red Honda 110 3-wheeler around the small lot through the swamp in the backyard, or racing down the street in my PK Ripper BMX bike, I was in my room pounding on my red sparkle finish Slingerland 5-piece drum set. Yeah, you could say I was kind of spoiled. Todd was my neighbor in the duplex community, and he also had a single mom who worked late. Todd liked to smoke pot and listen to heavy metal, and he had a very cool record collection. One day he brought over Judas Priest, Screaming for Vengeance, and asked me to teach him how to play the drums. I put on the song You've Got Another Thing Coming on my turntable, and I jumped behind the drums and proceeded to rock the house down. I just remember Todd was baked, his eyes all red and squinty, banging his head, and I don't know whatever happened to Todd, because I moved away later that summer, but I sure am glad that he introduced me to this album. So released July 1st, 1982, Judas Priest Screaming for Vengeance is the 8th studio album by the English classic heavy metal pioneers. I saw them play live opening for Kiss Dynasty Tour back in 1979. That was my first concert that I ever attended, I might add. And although Judas Priest were established metal masters across the pond, it wasn't until this album that they truly gained huge popularity in the United States, with metal god Rob Halford on lead vocals, the dynamic duo of KK Downing and Glenn Tipton on guitars, Ian Hill on bass, and Dave Holland on drums. Screaming for Vengeance bludgeoned its listeners with 10 incredible tracks. The album opens with The Hellion, this 40-second instrumental, which the band has used as their walk-on music at their live concerts. Pure metal grandeur, featuring the majestic guitar work of KK Downing and Glenn Tipton. Track 2, side 1, Electric Eye, rips things into high gear. Inspired by George Orwell's novel 1984, Rob Halford sings of a high-tech electric spy that is watching everything and everyone. Unfortunately, much of that foreboding of the novel has come to pass here in the modern day society. Nowadays, Big Brother really is watching you. Track 3, side 1, Riding the Wind, opens with a furious drum solo, followed up with its fast tempo and Halford's high octave delivery. It gets the listener's heart rate moving faster. A face-melting guitar solos traded back and forth by Downing and Tipton. It's a real metalhead's treat. Track 4, side 1, Bloodstone, opens with a memorable guitar riff. Halford's vocals, they're absolutely huge in the mix. Bloodstone! The winning formula always includes dueling guitar solos by the Shredders, Downing and Tipton. Track 5, side 1, Take These Chains, is the first song written by an outside contributor, Bob Halligan Jr., and with its polished production, it was also the second single released off the album. It's classic heavy metal performed as only the Priest can deliver. Last song on side 1, Pain and Pleasure, is a tour de force. The drums sound like they were recorded on a mountaintop. By this time in their career, too, the band was dressed fully in leather and chains, and this song about S&M fits right into their scheme of things. Side 2 opens with the intense Screaming for Vengeance. The title track does not disappoint, with Halford showing off his 5-octave vocal range and KK and Glenn melting listeners' faces with an incredible harmonized guitar solo. The song ends with a wall of guitar feedback. Track 2, side 2, You've Got Another Thing Coming. This was the first single off the album, becoming an FM rock radio smash and also a huge hit video on MTV. With You've Got Another Thing Coming, many got to experience Judas Priest in all their heavy metal glory for the first time, and it's an experience they wouldn't soon forget. What teenager wouldn't get an adrenaline rush from having to hear this song? Halford preaches and teaches us. He's telling us, you've got another thing coming. The song is a heavy metal masterpiece. Track 3, side 2, Fever, opens with a beautiful guitar melody. Flanger and chorus pedals in full effect. And the Priest can write epic ballads, and this is yet another to add to their list. My absolute fave is Beyond the Realms of Death, I might add. It's an absolutely amazing song off of Stained Class. Very tasty guitar solos on this song, again by the incomparable KK Downs and Glenn Tipton. During the third verse, Halford even takes it to a higher octave. It's just another great track. Last song on the album, Devil's Child, is another fan favorite, a powerful rocker with a great hook. There's a super chorus line. I believe you're the devil. I believe you're the devil's child. Halford screams out in agony during the bridge, hitting high notes that few mere mortals can muster. Judas Priest, Screaming for Vengeance, has sold over 2 million albums in the United States, and among loyal Priest fans, it ranks in their top 5 albums, as there are so many great ones. So thanks again for tuning in, and look for more Rokk Club record album reviews in the near future. Peace.